A long time ago, there lived a powerful and influential ruler known as Shango, gifted with immense power by his mother's people in Upe. He possessed thunderbolt stones from his grandfather, a tool he used to summon thunder from the skies. This granted him the title of the powerful god of thunder and fire, as fire would rage from his mouth when he became angry. As he approached a marriageable age, Shango's mother advised him to always treat every beautiful woman he met with respect. Oba was the first woman to catch his eye, a young, spirited, and skilled dancer just like Shango. Love blossomed, and they quickly fell in love and wed. Unfortunately, after years of marriage, Oba had not been able to bear a child for Shango. Desperate for an heir, he asked his wife if he could take a concubine, to which she agreed. One day, while on his way back from a friend's place, Shango was enticed by the aroma of food from a nearby hut. He knocked, and a beautiful, stunning lady appeared before him, and thus began the relationship between Shango and Osun. Eventually, Shango brought Osun to live with them, causing Oba to feel threatened when Shango declared that Osun would be the only one to cook for him. Feeling threatened by a potential to win Shango's heart, Oba harbored resentment towards Osun and her future children with the king. Osun, on the other hand, had no affection for Oba and believed she would be the one to bear the future heirs. One fateful market day, while searching for yams, Shango caught sight of the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. He followed her to the entrance of Ira town, where she transformed into an antelope and ran away. Intrigued, Shango sought answers from Oromila, who consulted the Ifa oracle to reveal the woman's true identity. He then took Shango to his inner chamber and imparted his wisdom. My son, that woman is no ordinary being. She's powerful and blessed, possessing dominion over the winds and earth, Oromila decreed, leaving Shango awestruck. Never has Shango encountered anyone as powerful as himself. I want her. What must I do to make her mine? Shango inquired eagerly. Oromila sighed. If you can obtain her for, she'll be yours, but be warned, do not anger her. Her wrath is terrifying. During the subsequent market day, Shango concealed himself behind a giant rock, patiently waiting Oya's arrival. Suddenly, an antelope appeared towards him, glancing round before transforming into a woman. She carefully hid her foal before entering the market. As soon as she departed, Shango emerged from his hiding spot and snatched the hidden foal, quickly dashing home to hide it in his sacred chamber. Later on, when Oya returned to the bush, to her dismay, her foal was nowhere to be found. Knowing that she could not enter without it, she broke into tears. However, Shango arrived at the opportune moment. Comforting her with his presence, he offered her solace. Shango found love with Oya, the goddess of the wind, and eventually led her back to his home. According to Yoruba beliefs, Oya was Shango's third wife, even though he had not paid her dowry. His other wives harbored a deep hatred towards her. News of Shango's immense strength and power soon spread across the Yoruba land, reaching the ears of the Alaafin of Oyo, King Ajaka. He urgently summoned Shango and informed him of his cousin, the Olowo of Owo, and his wicked plans to overthrow the Yoruba kingdom. Shango and Ajaka had an agreement that he would come to his aid whenever required, and the king gifted him with cowries before his departure. Filled with gratitude, Shango regarded Oya as his good luck charm and spent more time in her presence, much to the disdain of his other wives. Oba and Oshun incessantly nagged Shango about Oya, wanting to know more about her. Eventually, he relented and disclosed the full details. From then on, whenever Oya passed by his other wives, they would sing in mock towards her. Hmm, she may eat and drink like a human, but she's nothing more than an animal, with her four hidden in the sacred room. One quiet morning, as Oya lounged lazily in bed, the sound of music played in her mind. In that moment, she slyly tiptoed into the sacred room and, to her delight and fury, found her beloved four. Meanwhile, Shango was returning home when an antelope zoomed past him at a remarkable speed. Suspecting it was his wife, he dashed inside to check and discovered she was missing. With a sense of panic rising within him, he rushed to seek help from Orumila. In the meantime, Oya had fled to Iran Kingdom to reunite with her parents, who were overjoyed to see her again. After a satisfying meal, she relayed all that transpired, including her new husband. Infuriated by the fact that he had not paid her dowry, her parents engaged in a heated argument, and the matter was eventually brought before the king. The monarch informed her that it was considered an abomination in the kingdom to enter into matrimony without a dowry. Oya stood her ground, claiming the deed was already done, which enraged him even further. He banished her from the kingdom, causing her parents to shed tears. This fueled her anger. She stormed out and transformed into a raging tornado headed towards Shango's house. Luckily, Shango had met Oromila at his shrine and shared with him what has transpired. He begged Shango to return home immediately and prepare bean cake, which he will use to appease Oya. He also cautioned him to beware of his other wives. Hurriedly, Shango went home to cook the food while his other wives watched in dread. As soon as Shango finished preparing the bean cake, he stepped outside and saw the tornado approaching towards his house. The roofs of neighboring houses were ripped off and trees were uprooted from the ground. Shango felt fear like never before. But as soon as Oya reached him, she transformed into a buffalo and charged at him. He quickly offered her the bean cake. The delicious aroma melted her heart, and she broke off her horns and gave them to him. She then eagerly ate the bean cake. With their anger dissolved, both Shango and Oya apologized to each other and went back inside. Oya instructed him to strike the ants together whenever he required her assistance. Some weeks later, Olowo sent his soldiers to capture King Ajaka in Oyo. The Council of Elders urgently notified Shango, and he went after the soldiers. When the battle intensified, he struck the ants together, and Oya appeared as a storm. Together, they vanquished the soldiers and safely returned the king to his home. Upon their return, the Council of Elders stripped Ajaka of his throne and crowned Shango as the fourth Alaafin of Oyo. Ajaka was then sent into exile. King Shango and his wives were revered throughout the kingdom. He built separate houses for each of his wives in the palace and slept in whichever house he pleased. Oba noticed that Shango still favored Oshun's cooking, making it evident that she was his favorite. Oba approached Oshun for advice on how to win over their husband's love. Oshun had a trick up her sleeve. Oba, deceived by Oshun's words, believed that she used to cook his favorite soup by adding pieces of her ear. Convinced that this would make him love her more, she convinced Shango to allow her to cook for him. She thought that adding her entire ear to the soup would intensify her husband's affection for her. Therefore, she chopped off her left ear and used it to prepare the soup. Little did she know it would be a downfall. When Shango saw the ear floating in the soup, he suspected that she was trying to poison him and angrily banished her from the palace. Heartbroken and rejected, Osun cried until she eventually transformed into the river goddess known today as River Oba in Ogun State, Nigeria. Later on, Shango discovers the truth and Osun's deception and is filled with rage. He also chased her out of the palace. Exhausted and demoralized, she fell and became a river goddess, this time known as the goddess of fertility in Osun State, Nigeria. Oya, who is now Shango's only wife, eventually gave birth to twins. The naming ceremony was a grand affair, with kings from all corners of Yoruba land coming to celebrate the new royal heirs. On this night, Oya seized the opportunity to ask her husband about his source of power as she could not contain her curiosity. In a good mood, Shango revealed to her the secrets of the thunderbolt stones. Oya, however, kept this knowledge to herself for some time before eventually telling Shango the truth, although she still kept the stones in her possession. In the 7th year as king, Shango appointed two powerful generals, Timi Agbala and Bokan, who were equally skilled in combat as he was. Oya, feeling threatened by their presence, urged Shango to get rid of them. He then sent them to guard the two border towns. However, Shango secretly planned to have them killed, so he set up a trap for them. Bokan unknowingly killed Timi, and when he realized that they had been set up by Shango, he challenged him for the throne. Knowing that a battle was imminent, Shango called upon his wife to give him the thunderbolt stones. But to his horror, he discovered that they have been defiled with her menstrual blood, which was considered taboo in Yoruba tradition. Shango then climbed onto a nearby rock to test the potency of the stones, only to be struck by lightning, causing a fire to burn down the palace, killing Shango's children and some of his guards. The people of Oyo were enraged with resentment towards Shango, driving him from the kingdom. Taking Oya and a handful of his most trusted chiefs, Shango embarked on a journey to Nupe. The journey took them through Ira, Oya's hometown, to reach Nupe before daybreak. But upon arriving, Oya could not bear to pass through without seeing her beloved parents, so she made an excuse to stay behind. Upon reaching Koso land, Shango encountered Bokan, ready to challenge him. The battle was fierce, leaving the both of them to vanish into air, with Bokan appearing victorious. Some of the chiefs returned to Oyo to report the dreadful news of Shango's supposed defeat. Meanwhile, Shango used thunder to strike down Bokan and consume him into ashes. Oya heard of her husband's demise and, in her despair, took her own life. She became a river deity known as Odoya, River Oya, falling to the ground. Shango returned to search for his wife and discovered the tragic truth of her passing. Consumed with sorrow and rage, He desired to unleash fire and thunder upon the entire Yoruba land. The ancestors foresaw the dangerous consequences that could arise and intervened, causing the earth to open and swallow Shango. This marked the tragic end of Shango and his three wives. This story not only explains natural phenomena like rivers, but also provides moral lessons about jealousy, deceit, and the consequences of one's actions. The worship and reverence for these goddesses continue to be a significant aspect of Yoruba culture and spirituality, with annual rituals and prayers dedicated to Oba, Osun, and Oya in different regions. Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us on this mythical journey today. I hope you've had as much fun as I did. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comment section. What moral lessons did you learn from this folktale? If you enjoyed the story of Shango and his wives as much as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, may your days be filled with magic and wonder. Bye bye.